Ye children of the night, what sweet music they make! It is I, Count Dracula, star of one of the games in this book, creating adventure programs on the ZX Spectrum by Peter Shaw and James Mortleman. In this book,
it's Draculax, you idiot.
What?
He's a robot.
What?
Evil robot.
Well, I'm dressed now. In this game, Draculax, you are aiming to destroy the evil Draculax, a computerized version of Dracula who lives in the Transylvanian laboratories surrounded by his batty-type friends. Your task is simple. You must sneak into the laboratory and drive a stake into the robot's central processing unit. That should hold back his biting power. Instructions are within, and it's got graphics. So what are we waiting for? Sunrise? So this is from the book Creating Adventure Programs on the Spectrum, written by Peter Shaw and James Mortleman, published by Interface Publications. It was published in 1983. This game is Draculax, which is written by Mr. Mortleman. James Mortleman, to be precise. Instructions contained within the program, we shall see them soon. It contains user-defined graphics, which are always a bit of a challenge in these couple of programs. The good news is, after every line that contains them, there's a REM statement that says which one to use. This is lovely. The bad things about the listing, there's only a couple. The printing is fine, except normally a Spectrum line of code has 32 characters in it. The printing here has more than that, so the lines don't quite line up. It's not a big issue, except when you have the lines of, you have about 20 lines for the laboratory layout, and they're meant to line up properly, and they don't quite, so you have to sort of count spaces, which are of course invisible. The other thing I'm not a big fan of was the user-defined graphics. They use all of them. You can use 21. We use every single user-defined graphics, and there are line after line of numbers. My preferred way of doing it is have 8 data sentences in a row with normal decimal numbers. Here they've got about 7 or 8 lines, some of which have about 24 entries in, some of which are normal numbers, some of which are bin statements. So, for example, bin 100111001, bin 100111001. And after you've got to the 15th or 16th, your eyes start to go a bit funny. That is not ideal. Apart from that, it wasn't bad to type in. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15 pages. Took me a couple of hours to type in, and it's already loaded. We now wait while you initialize. And we do want to see the instructions. Absolutely, to see what on earth is going on. So, the object of the game is to be able to sneak into Transylvania Laboratory and kill Draculax, a robot version of Dracula, by driving a stake into his main processing unit. We start at the entrance to the laboratory, and are provided with a map. There are 8 commands which can be entered when the computer asks, "What next?" These are printed later. There are various rooms in the laboratory, and in the rooms there are objects, traps, etc. Some of the objects are red herrings. Obviously, we'll need to find out which they are. We can only carry one object at a time, so we must have the correct object at the correct time. To pick up an object, you must land on it and answer a yes/no question. We must be careful not to make too much noise, or we could wake up sleepy Draculax, who is having his power pack recharge in his coffin. Controlled force for power input, because if we do, he will drive his hydraulic fangs into our neck. We can also save the game. It supports score, high score, and map, and showing the position. Key to the map, you have Draculax's coffin with a nice D on it. I'm the little man with his arms in the air. There's a laser gun, a glove, a torch, a key, a different type of coffin, a robotic bat, a plank, electrified cobweb, and of course the stake. List of commands: go north, go south, go east, go west, C key, C map, save game, and quit. Quitting will erase your name and score and restart the program. Commands must be entered in small letters, not capitals. Who dares to enter the laboratory? Well, it is I, Snorkers. There was an error in Dracula's right eye, which I've later fixed. It always starts you in caps lock. And here's the map. One thing I changed is I got fed up of typing go north and let you type NEWS. So I'm the little man in the bottom of the screen, in the middle. To the north of me, there's a coffin. To the west, there's a coffin. So you move around, it moves quite quickly, and you can see the bats are all coming towards me. The bats will not move into an object, but they will move towards you when they can, and bats can move diagonally. So I'm going to try and get around the bats somehow. There are 5 bats all coming for me. There's a bat on the left-hand side of the screen, but he can't come and get me because there's a wall in the way. The bat in the middle that's blocked by an electrified cobweb. Bat to the north has got past the coffin, but beyond that bat they can see a laser gun, which might come in handy. If I can get around the bat, around this torch, and Draculax's coffin is over to the right-hand side. The way to that coffin is blocked by an electrified cobweb. So unfortunately, the bats can move diagonally. So I'm trying to dodge around him with a bit of the old kiting. I can only move orthogonally, which means I have been attacked by a robotic bat. It has sucked out all my blood and has left my shriveled up body to rot. I have been a victim of the perils that infest Transylvania Laboratory. I got no score, and nobody's got a high score. I think we should have another go. That was actually my 3rd go, I think. It's a bit of a luck-based mission because it depends on where the objects are placed. Because unless you can defend yourself against the bats, you're going to have no luck. So, here we go again. We don't need to see instructions this time because we know what's happening, because we is clever. There is Dracula. Again, we're in caps lock. They also note they've changed the beeping sound. So rather than the usual Spectrum click, you get a beep. So now we need to find a laser gun. There are a couple in easy access. One in the central room, one around to the left. Bats there are 2 in the left-hand room, 2 in the top, and 1 on the right. So I'm going to move around. And I need to get hold of that laser. The stake is in the left-hand room. To get through it, though, I need to get over the coffin. And the coffins are not good things. They are bad things. So we're going to move around into the central room. Keep an eye on the noise level as well. Once the noise level hits 4, we awaken Draculax and instantly lose the game. So going into the central room, it moves pretty nippily. The only moving pieces are the bats. which can move diagonally but not into walls. So now I'm going to move south. No, move north, sorry. I'm going to go and get the plank first of all. I'm carrying nothing. I will take up the plank. One object at a time. And what use is a plank, you may say? Can you use the plank to kill Dracula? No, you may not. I'm now going to head north, through this gap, into this extra corridor. Up and around. No bats coming to get me, which is good. As I said, it's a bit of a luck-based mission, but it's rather charming. It doesn't need to be a text-based game. I could have changed the instructions just to respond to key presses, or even the cursor keys, but I didn't. This is the only mention of Draculax I can find on the internet. If you search for Draculax on Google before this video goes up, you'll find links to Castlevania X, Wonder of the Night or something. So I'm going to go and stand on this coffin. Oh dear, I have trodden on a coffin which is really a bottomless put. That's my typo, not the game's. Bottomless pit. There it is, going down to infinity. Luckily, I've got a plank. Without a plank, I would die. A rather nice animation. Everything's done in basic, by the way. So now, we can go north. I'm going to pick up the laser. Because, by crossing the coffin with the plank, we've now magically filled in the bottomless pit. Which is excellent. We like this. So now I'm going to go to the west. You can see there's a coffin just beyond the doorway where there are two bats. And they're going to come and attack me. So rather splendid bat effect. I could have used that when I did the Usborne adventure game with the bats. I got a copyright-free bat noise from YouTube. But that's a rather splendid. Just done with beeps. Really, really small beeps. Because the way you defeat robotic bats is by using your laser. So until you can find a laser, the bats will just come and kill you. The bat is slightly wonky. There's about 30 lines of code to draw the bat. So I'm now going to head south, because the way is now clear for me to get the stake. Of course, we need the stake to kill Dracula. The other two bats are in the north, in the room with two cobwebs, a glove, a coffin and a plank. And the last bat is guarding the robotic coffin of Draculax himself. So down I go. Pick up the coffin. I'm carrying a laser, and I drop the laser and replace it with a stake. Up we go. So now we're going to go up and around. We need to go through the central corridor, along, up through the gap, and through the gap between the coffins on the upper right of the screen. Noise is currently set to 2. Whenever you do something like cross a coffin pit, or fight a bat, or deal with the cobwebs, there is a chance that the noise level would increase. It's not guaranteed. It's 50-50 on most things, and a 40% chance, I don't want to pick up a key, 40% chance with the bats. So it's not guaranteed, but the more things you do, the more noise you make, the more chance you have of waking up Draculax. Around we go. Up we go. It's a nice clear run. Because the coffins will kill you stone dead if you don't have a plank. And the bats will kill you if you don't carry the laser. And we are currently carrying the steak. I had steak the other day. I had that with pomme rosette and salad. It was rather pleasant. Medium rare it was. Draculax would prefer it blue, obviously. Round we go. So now we go south, around the torch, because we don't want to pick up a torch. Because torches don't do anything, neither do keys. There are no locked doors. So now we go north. And you can see there's a bat at the bottom of the screen. He's sort of wobbling about a bit. A robotic bat. And as we go north and then start heading east, he'll start coming towards us. He's now moving east and get around the wall. Fortunately, there is a laser between me and the bat. So what I'm going to do is pick up the laser and go and shoot the bat in its stupid squeaky head. So we go to the east, and then go south. For some reason the bat can't get through the gap, which is good, but it will start moving around to the west and come and get me as I get closer. There's no point trying to outrun it because it can go orthogonally and diagonally. Here it is, it's coming to get me. And I've killed it with my laser. Fortunately, robotic bats are not endangered species, so we're okay. So now we're going to head towards the coffin of Draculax. Noise level is now 3. So that's on sudden death. I can only open the coffin when I'm carrying the stake. I'm not carrying the stake. Remember, I exchanged the stake for the laser. So I'd have to track back up to the top of the screen. There it is. Straight right up to the stake. But there's a bat you can see has crept in from this central room. I'm going to swap my laser for the stake. If I go and shoot the bat, there's a chance that Draculax will wake up, which is a bad thing. So fortunately, the bat can't get through the wall. So now we have a straight run down to Draculax's coffin. We can put an end to his reign of terror. I open the lid of the coffin and see sleepy Draculax. Scroll. I drive the stake into his main processing unit and put an end to his evil robotic life. That effect is just done by changing the border rapidly over and over again. It's rather effective, isn't it? So now we have to get to the exit, marked with exit. Between us and the exit, we've only got the robotic bat to deal with. Fortunately, we've got the stake, which is no good against robotic bats, but there's a laser up towards the top, so we can pick up the laser, and then we'll be laughing. Our score is currently 2400, noise is currently 3, but Draculax is now dead, so we can basically start a marching band and we're fine. Swap the laser for the stake. Excellent work. It doesn't tell you what you're carrying. It could tell you at the top of the screen in the middle, there's enough space, but it doesn't. But I'm quite pleased with this game. It took about 2.5 hours to type in, and then about an hour this morning fixing the user-defined graphics, which was slightly wrong because they were hard to type in. Here comes Mr. Bat. Mr. Bat wants to drink my blood. Mr. Bat's going to get a face full of laser. So now all I need to do is rush to the exit. What I'm going to do is just show you what the cobwebs are like. The way you deal with cobwebs is with this glove. Some kind of Freddy Krueger type rubber, or maybe a rubber glove, I'm not quite sure. So let's go and look at a cobweb, just to show you. So you've seen everything this game has to offer. Electrified cobweb. By using the glove, I have successfully removed the electric cobweb from my path. Otherwise it horribly disfigures and maims you and you die on the spot. It's now gone. Noise level is now 5 because you've killed a bat and cleared off a cobweb. So that's beyond the death zone. Fortunately, we don't really care. So we're going to keep moving now towards the exit and our victory. I'm rather pleased with this. Mr. Mortleman, when he wrote this, I believe was 14. Yes, Mr. Mortleman is a 14-year-old schoolboy who specialises in adventure programmes. He started programming when he was 11 after he read a basic instruction book. Shortly after this, he bought a ZX81 on which he learnt most of his adventure techniques. James attends Ilford County High, and his favourite subjects are languages. After meeting Tim Hartnell, we know Tim, at a computer fair in London, he was put in touch with Peter Shaw, and together they wrote this book. Peter Shaw is a 16-year-old programmer from Stanwell in Middlesex, who's written several books, including Games for Your ZX Spectrum, which I think I've got. We've seen that before. Getting Started on Your Auric, and Games for Your Auric. He's also secretary of the Staines and Stainwell Computer Club. And now, I've won. I've killed Draculax and escaped from his terror-filled laboratory, and I think we can rest on our laurels tonight. Thank you for watching.